What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. I did a video like this back in 2016. Unfortunately, I didn't do one in 2017 for whatever reason. Probably not a good reason other than I just totally forgot and it slipped my mind. But today, we are going to be talking about 10 epic songs that turned 10 in 2018. Whether you're watching this video in the future and these songs have all already turned 10, or maybe you're watching it right now and not every single song on the list has exactly turned 10 yet. They turned 10 or else have already turned 10 or are gonna turn 10. I'm saying 10 so much I should be in Team 10, and God knows they're down members. Sorry to stain this list with that mention there. Ooh, let's go ahead and scrub that from the record. We're actually gonna be talking about 10 amazing songs that do have a birthday this year, so let us celebrate. Whether the genre is alternative rock or even pop, we're gonna be talking about a variety of different tracks that I absolutely love, ones that have definitely stood the test of a decade. 10 years ago, all of these songs were probably playing in my MySpace somewhere, if I actually knew them at that point. So with that being said, I hope that you enjoy the video. Let me know how many of these tracks that you actually knew in the comment section down below, and let me know any other songs that you love that are turning 10 this year. Drop a like on the video, and here is the very first pick. If you ever need a song to fire you up and just put you in a good mood, Secret Crowds by Angels and Airwaves is that track. Now, I can definitely admit that they have a shaky at best track record when it comes to full-length albums, and Tom DeLonge has been known for being a bit sporadic, and at this point, he was out of Blink-182, but like the year after this came out, Blink-182 reunited at the Grammys, but this was just a special time. It's a summery vibe, and one that has a positive message. The chorus is huge, it has a great intro that really just draws you in, and then it gets fierce. The dropping guitars just get loud, and you just want to go out and, I don't know, dance in the rain or whatever people do in this summer.
How you got lost, but you made your way back home. You sold your soul like a Roman vagabond, yeah.
Next, we have a selection from Day and Age by The Killers. It wasn't my favorite record by them by any means, but it definitely had some amazing tracks, including the opening moment, Losing Touch. This one has some horns, almost a jazzy swing to it, and a great vibe overall. Brandon Flowers sounds fantastic in his vocal performance, especially once he delivers that charismatic chorus that'll get stuck in your head, but the verses aren't to be missed either. There's a lot of very interesting lyrical content going on, and I love the fact that it tells a story. A decade later, this is standing so tall, and it's among my favorite songs by The Killers. In fact, I recently saw them live, and it's a shame that they didn't play this.
When you see my face, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. When you walk my way, hope it gives you hell, hope it gives you hell. If you find a man that's worth the damn and treats you well, then he's a fool, you're just as well, hope it gives you hell.
It's a decade later and I'm still humming this song. The All-American Rejects took a very different approach to hit making on this one after having several big songs on their album Move Along in 2005, Dirty Little Secret, and the title track were both top 20 hits in the US. I know, that's kind of hard to believe, but they had an even bigger hit in the form of Gives You Hell. I'm talking top 5 in the United States, and something that actually went platinum, I believe, maybe even double platinum? I wouldn't say the Rejects have totally lost their touch at this point or anything, it's just that they're far too inconsistent between releases and with exactly what they're doing. People get confused and people forget about the band, but hey, think back to the good times. Think back to Gives You Hell. The All-American Rejects might not be your favorite band, and they might not even be worth revisiting for you as a whole, but Gives You Hell turns 10 this year. Just go back, maybe relive some old memories, because I guarantee at least it'll bring a smile to your face, if nothing else.
In the sun, rivers, dark winds wail, and these children leave the rulers behind. As we cross 10 leagues from a Rubicon, the matchsticks for my bow.
Beck is a very interesting artist and one that always likes to keep things fresh and interesting, and on this record, Modern Guilt, he added this track, Orphans, that has influences of the Beatles and some 70s psychedelia, and also just a really nice acoustic rhythm that drives the song. I think his vocals are really captivating here, and you can hear some backing vocals pop up as well that almost get a bit spooky as you listen to this song more and more. It just seems like it has this dark aura floating around it. And Beck has plenty of hits under his belt, and I don't blame you if you forgot about a track like this, or even some of the other great ones off of this very release. He's got many great songs in his discography, but this was a minor hit back in the day, and it does turn 10 this year, so go back and give it another spin. I almost reject the notion completely that this album and this song could be 10 years old, but here we have, off of Viva La Vida, or Death and All His Friends, which just turned 10 years old on June 12th. Holy crazy right there. This is Violet Hill, and this is such a beautiful, touching song. Chris Martin really excels in the vocal department here, but the band is not to be overlooked. That bass that's so dark and sinister in the background, and that driving guitar force that is a huge wrecking ball in this song, especially once it really starts to strike, and those drums that just pound away and add an extra sense of urgency to the track. It's kind of melodramatic, but it's also a story told in the best way, and it's a pinnacle of this release. It's one of Coldplay's best songs, and it definitely deserves your attention 10 years later.
You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me, and I know that you'll find love. I will possess your heart.
Take the time to space out and listen to a long song that's well worth its runtime. It earns every minute, and even though there is a radio edit, it's still always interesting to go back to that full, nearly 9-minute version of I Will Possess Your Heart by Death Cab for Cutie. Now, they just announced their new release, which I am very excited for, thank you for today, and it's their first without Chris Wallace, so let's go back in time to a time when they actually still had their guitarist. I mean, I understand him leaving after a long time and a long stint with the band, but still, listen to a track like this and you understand why his creativity is going to be missed. I really think I Will Possess Your Heart is a track that relies heavily, yes, on a refrain. You gotta spend some time, love. You gotta spend some time with me. But it also really relies on its instrumentation. It creates this brooding atmosphere that you can't even really completely cut through without listening to the full song. And I love a track that has character and backbone like that. It's different, it's unique, and it really stands out in Death Cab's, really their entire discography.
I got a notion to say what doesn't feel right. Got the answer in your story today. It gave me a sign that didn't feel right now. So don't knock it, you've been here before.
I have no shame whatsoever admitting this, but Notion by Kings of Leon is still my favorite Kings of Leon song to this date. It's something that I heard on their album Only by the Night. I initially hated my first song from them, Sex on Fire. I grew to love it, but I heard the track Notion, and that is what started to win me over. I love those guitars in the intro. It just sounds kind of theatric to me in a way, and they just kept me coming back for more, and the way those drums and the percussion just starts to rattle in the background. And then I found Caleb Shomo to be such an engaging vocalist on this one, especially with the don't knock it. Only by the Night was a huge album. In fact, Use Somebody and even Sex on Fire dominated both the mainstream and the alternative airwaves, but it's a song like this that went underrated. Even though it did get a single release and it was a music video that went along with it as well, it's still criminally underrated in my book. Kings of Leon definitely have many great songs, especially before Only by the Night. There's some gems in there that are very, very different, and I'm just at this point sad that I didn't get to see them live. I was supposed to go to something in 2014 or 15, I believe, called Ni-Fi Fest. Green Day, Kings of Leon, Weezer, a bunch of other great bands were going to be there, and then it got canceled due to low ticket sales. So here I am, a decade after the song came out, and I still haven't seen it live. Hey, I'm just as sad as anyone that it's been 10 years since 2008. I mean, nostalgia and all the great things that happened that year, I mean, I miss it in a lot of ways. But I also have to think back and say, you know what? It's been 10 years since Twilight came out. It's been 10 years. We're 10 years removed from that. I'm 10 years away from my old girlfriend forcing me to watch that movie and all of the other ones. At least that was afterwards. I had to watch like 3 in one day. I'm still traumatized. Hey, but you didn't come here for my life story. You came here to hear about Decode by Paramore turning 10. This is an epic song, one of my favorites by them. If you've seen my top 10 Paramore, you know I won't completely spoil it, but it is in the top 3. Decode is an amazing track that relies on emotion, heavy chugging guitars, and a steady drum rhythm all throughout, and then an immense guitar solo that really kicks things off, drives things up to the next gear, and I think that Hayley Williams vocally is really just giving it her all, and her presence is truly felt on this moment.
I wanna hold them like they do in Texas, please. Fold them, let them hit me, raise it, baby, stay with me. I love it. Love game, intuition, play the cards with spades to start. And after he's been hooked, I'll play the one that's on his heart.
If you're wondering why Just Dance isn't here, I easily could have put that or several other tracks off of the Fame on this list, but I'm not going to do that because I've talked about Just Dance many times before. Let's talk about Poker Face and its many redeeming qualities that most people don't seem to see. Maybe a decade out they've started to see, but initially I think that people overlooked Lady Gaga just because they were like, oh, it's all flash and glam and no talent at all, and that's not the case. If you listen to Poker Face, I think that the synth melodies and just the building vibe of the song, it's so well produced, but also well performed and well sung. Not that the music video really relates to the quality of the track, but that was always great as well, and a keeper in my book. Look, it's everything that a pop song should be. It has a compelling hook, an interesting vibe, and something that you can just sing along with at the top of your lungs. You still come back to it, admit it. I know that you've got it on an old iPod somewhere, maybe tucked away in those iTunes files, or maybe you still have it saved on your streaming service of choice. It's something that I know I come back to, and maybe you will as well. Hey, it's A-Punk by Vampire Weekend. This track was actually discovered by me on Tap Revenge. That's how I found a lot of songs. I was familiar with some of their works, but not everything, and this one is incredible. I love this song for its simple blast of energies that it has, but it's also really complex if you get down to some of the extra backing instrumentation that's added in there. There's layers that you have to peel back to this song. And I do like Ezra's vocals on this track, obviously, as well. I think that that's why so many people were drawn to Vampire Weekend in the early days, because he was a very entertaining vocalist. He has a nice range, but he's also just kind of quirky and charming in an odd way. I hope you guys enjoyed this video on 10 epic songs that turned 10 in 2018. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know any other picks that you would have added to the list in the comments section down below. Please leave me a like on the video to let me know that you enjoyed this video, and if there's any other videos that you'd like to see me tackle on Beyond ARTV, always open to suggestions. Other than that, if you're able to support me on Patreon, it's the top link down below, or else the annotation in the corner. If you want to see 10 epic songs that turned 10 in 2016, then tap right over here, or see another recent video I did on Beyond right over here. All of my social media accounts can be found linked in the description, and I'll see you soon for more right here on Beyond ARTV.